This is part 2 of the video. Welcome back. I'm still here, rambling, as I sit here and talk about just nothing. It's kind of like a Seinfeld episode. Remember Seinfeld? You guys are probably too young to remember. But every episode was about like nothing. That's what made it so funny. And so maybe in the ASMR world, it's the same way. In fact, it is. If you guys seen a lot of ASMR artists talk about nothing at all, and that's okay. They just like to provide triggers for you, which is awesome. And I guess my thought was maybe I could do that, but also teach you a little something about money. So that is my goal as I continue with the channel. So relax, relax, relax. Try to fall asleep. For the person that wrote that comment, and several of you gave him thumbs up or her thumbs up. So relax. Maybe try to fall asleep to me talking about money. A little bit of osmosis. Like I said last time, how are you guys doing with your money? I hope you're all doing well. You know, this is about the point where I start thinking about how I'm doing for the middle of the year, because we're almost into June. Then by the end of June, it's half of the year, right? Because then we have July through December. So I want you to stop right now and ask yourself, self, how am I doing? Do I have an accountable partner? Accountability partner. Remember, we've talked about having accountability partners. Accountability partners. And that can be somebody in your life that keeps you accountable. No kidding, right? Share with them how you're doing so far this year. Many of you have said to me that you've started doing better with money since you found my channel. That means so much to me, so thank you. So I ask you right now, how are you doing? You know, for me so far this year, I'm in my budget. In fact, I'm pretty much always in my budget. But that's a discipline that I've learned through multiple years. So if you're new at this, give yourself grace. Give yourself patience. Learning the art of doing well with money takes time. And so, give yourself that grace to be patient. And how are you doing? Are you in your goals? Are you spending about the amount of money that you hoped skills. And you might be exactly where you want to be at that point. Think about it that way. That's how it works. It doesn't work any other way. I always say there's no such thing as a get-rich scheme or opportunity. There really isn't. So don't believe that there is. Building wealth takes time and patience and dedication and discipline, year after year after year. You know, and someday you'll get to a point where you reach 55, 56, 57, 58. One comment on my channel recently was, hey, you're pushing 60. Yeah, that's true. And you guys will get here too someday, and you don't want to be broke when you get to 55 and 60 years old. You don't want to say to yourself, oh, I've got to work until I'm 75 or 80. That would be awful. I would hate that for you. So if you continue to do really well right now with money, then that won't happen. You're going to do just fine. Slow and steady as it goes, right? That's what I always say. By the way, I think I need more water. I did this on the other episode too. Are you asleep yet? Relax. So what else? What else should we talk about? Let me know in the comments how you guys are doing this year with your money. Are you meeting your goals? Are you not meeting your goals? You know, you have another 6 weeks or so before we get to the end of the half year point. So by the end of June, I contributed to my 401k to the match. After, and probably during, I also funded an emergency account of probably 6 months of living expenses, maybe more. I don't know. I tend to forget, but I had an emergency fund. Once I got to the company match, then I opened up a Roth IRA, and it took multiple years to finally max out the Roth IRA. Like, in other words, year 1 I put in 1,000, year 2 I put in 2,000, year 4 I put in 3,000. So it took like 5 years to finally get to a point where I was able to put in the total dollar amount into my Roth IRA every year. Never stopped. Then I said, Evan, you've got more money in your budget. What are you going to do? I went back to my 401k and maxed that out. That took 10 years. Are you following me? So every year you get a little raise. I made sure I maxed out to the total dollar amount to my 401k. Just look up the total dollar amounts that you can spend into those accounts or save. I like to call it spending because it's an expense, but anyway, it's an expense to save it. Okay. Then I opened up a health savings account because I have a high deductible health care plan, so that has some money in it. In 2016, I think it was, then I said to myself, you've got more money in your budget. You're continuing to do the 401k. You're continuing to do the Roth. You're continuing to fund all of those vehicles every year. But in 2016, I had extra money. So I put it into a taxable account. There's no limits of how much money you can put into a taxable account. Now within those accounts that I just talked about, all 4 of them, I call them the Fabulous Four. They're in low-cost index funds that ride the market of the S&P 500, and that's it. You can talk to a financial advisor and just say, you know what, I want low-cost index funds. Make sure they're no load, there's no commission on those, and your dollar cost averaging in and just putting your money into those year after year. See, it's not that sexy, right? Anybody can do it as long as you have income and keep your expenses low. That's the other thing. You must keep your expenses low every year to give yourself that opportunity to have wiggle room in your budget so that you can have a savings rate. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You have to see your savings as an expense in your budget. Do that 5 years. Do that another 5. Do that another 5. And maybe you'll be to 500,000, 600,000, 700,000, 800,000. You'll continue if you make enough income to get those. You're putting a lot of your money in there, by the way, right? You guys know I've talked about this. Of the 1.5 million I have, I would say half of that is money that I put into the market. Had I started when I was 25, it might be a third of the money, right? Or a fourth. But no, I started late, so I had to put a lot more money in there. So if you're younger, start now. And that's all I did. Not that complicated.